Okay, people, I'm usually all about my kings and queens and keeping it copacetic, but with this big backward ass beautiful bill making it through Congress and going through the Senate, I think it's time we talk about some other things that are just a little bit more serious. I think we need to make sure that we keep ourselves educated about what's going on. Some time ago, back in 2015, when Hillary was running against Trump, I wrote a book called um, Please Somebody Speak the Truth, right? At that time, it was just crazy. This was the first time we were experiencing so many lies just being told blatantly. I mean, that just didn't happen. People used to call out politicians when they lied. And so then that was my first time seeing like people just lying blatantly and nobody really talking about it. So that's why I just wrote this book. Please somebody speak the truth. It didn't really do that well. It didn't really take off. I am an indie writer, an independent writer. So, and I do publish my own books, but maybe it was because I put the dog on the cover, but I'm a dog lover, so I thought that was cute. But anyway, let's get inside what this book was really about. What I talked about is one thing that we're having going on right now is democracy, and we hear so much about that taking place. I'm going to read a little bit of what I have in the beginning of this book and a little bit about democracy and maybe touch on a few other things later. Okay, so it kind of starts out like this. Please somebody speak the truth. And I have a quote by Abraham Lincoln. I'm a firm believer in the people. If given the truth, they can be depended on to meet any national crisis. The great point is to bring them the real facts. So I think so many of us now are operating on fake facts. Fake facts. I used to say fake news, but now we're on these fake facts. I mean, because, we don't really have news. I think on the election, I really stopped looking at the news because I just like, I'm done. I'm done. And then, of course, when Joy Reid was taken off MSNBC, it was a wrap. It's a wrap. But I want us to kind of, we still have to focus on things that we have to know. We're going to be abused out here in these streets. So the most sophisticated weapon in the world is the human voice. More often than not, it is also the most damaging. The power of the voice can be used to bless or destroy. It can be used to spread truth or lies, to speak peace or violence, to encourage or tear down, to build nations or pillage countries. Instinctively, from the time we're infants, we know how to use our voices to gain attention and to have our basic needs fulfilled. Without the power of a voice, you become vulnerable, weak, helpless. Your thoughts and requests and protests go unheard. That's what makes a democracy strong. Each person has a voice in their vote. It's the manner that we choose and communicate with our representatives. Today, we are in a precarious position because our leadership is no longer trustworthy. Their voices are loud, but they don't tell us the truth, whether it be by omission or blatant lies. Most have gained their elevated positions of leadership through the power of persuasion, definitely convincing us they have all the answers. Who does that remind us of? And I mean, this was in 2015, even before this person won. Politicians are masters of this game. They compellingly communicate all the things we yearn to hear. At least some of them do. And some are honest, but others are downright deceitful. From my perspective, their deeds are more self-centered than noble. In the 21st century, more power-seeking voices have become increasingly brazen, distorting the facts, misrepresenting truths, and threatening to undermine hundreds of years in advancement for personal and privileged interests. And let's just go in and be blunt now. Here I'm talking about personal and privileged interests, but just let's talk about it. Billionaire interest. Billionaire interest. That's what we're talking about right now. In the political arena, the truth has been stretched and twisted to the extent that it is totally unrecognizable. Adolf Hitler said, make the lie big, make it simple, keep saying it, and eventually they will believe it. And I'm flabbergasted, as they say, because it actually happened just like this. The big lies told over and over again, and now people, they actually believe it, they believe it. The reason that most of us are quiet is because we don't possess enough information to participate in the conversation. We need to have a basic understanding of the serious issues facing this country, and we can't trust our leaders or the privately owned press to tell the truth. And right now, the press is privately owned. Privately owned. It's critical for us to define and clarify our understanding and beliefs on the number of fundamental issues before we can make an educated choice on whom we will listen. We can't continue to cast our votes based on name recognition. So, the Daily Mirror, after George Bush was re-elected, they asked the question, how can 59 million 54,087 people be so dumb? That was the headline on the page. Goodness gracious, how many are dumb right now? It looks like that number has grown. We haven't gotten any smarter. So we, the people, are America. We are not cattle to be corralled, nor wild animals to be herded, nor a population of geese to be driven out. We are the citizens of the United States. As such, we must become more proactive in addressing the significant issues that affect our everyday lives. The repercussions are dire, lest the line between life in the U.S. and life in a third world country become blurred, and we suffer the issues that concern them: poverty, quality drinking water, hunger, pollution, healthcare, and social and cultural exclusion. It's time to speak the truth. Wow. So those third world things that I've just mentioned there, we already suffering from these third world things. So this is 10 years ago. The line is already blurred. The line is already blurred. We are suffering from poverty, definitely quality drinking water. And some of us, we don't even know what type of water we're drinking. Flint water has been tested, but we all in the United States, all the pipes are the same age. So a lot of us are probably being exposed to lead and we just have no idea about it. Flint just knows. We don't even know. But these pipes, the infrastructure in the United States is old. Is old. I don't know anything about water pipes being replaced in my city. So, who knows what we're drinking. But anyway, William Faulkner, a great American writer, said, "Never be afraid to raise your voice for honesty and truth and compassion against injustice and lying and greed. If people all over the world would do this, it would change the earth." And that's what I'm glad to see. I'm seeing some of that happening in the continent of Africa, where people are starting to raise their voices against greed. People that are just, making themselves wealthier and not caring anything about the people. I mean, do wealthy people really need any more money? I'm like, stop. It's insane. It's insane to have much more money than 10 generations can spend down the road. Well, what is that all about? So I hear so much about our democracy. I actually wrote a chapter on democracy. I'm going to share a few things about it with you. I can't believe this was in 2015. So it's 2025, 10 years ago. What is this thing we Americans say we fight for? This thing we vow to protect at all costs, and this thing we desire to spread throughout the world. Merriam-Webster's definition of democracy says it is a system of government by the people, ruled by the majority, in which the supreme power is invested in the people and exercised by them directly or indirectly through a system of representation involving periodical free elections. It sounds so progressive. Surely a new age system developed by modern society. However, democracy is not a new concept. There is evidence that its earliest beginnings were about 4000 BC in Mesopotamia, which is now known as Iraq, Syria, and Kuwait. One quote that I did want to talk about here is that the disadvantages of democracy is the possibility of unequal representation. Ideally, a mixture of classes in society should represent the people. Regrettably, there is no one system that fits all. The purpose of democracy is to serve the well-being of the greatest number, hence the majority rules. In actuality, it doesn't necessarily function in that way. And we know it's not functioning that way because we're gerrymandered up to our necks, right? And so our votes are not even really counting in the way that they should. And not only that, we have some questions if these machines are even functioning in the way that they should. But anyway, it says, whereas it would be thought that most people would vote for the benefit of their class or financial status, they frequently don't. And so we're here in a country where most of us are not rich. Most of us are middle class or poor. because the middle class had become poorer, and we're not voting by to the benefit of our class, as it says. We are not doing that. Most of our politicians that are representing us are very wealthy people. Why are we voting in wealthy people? Wealthy people don't represent the majority of the country. This is indicative of an aristocracy. And then in the book, Democracy in America, authored by Alex D. Tocqueville, he wrote, when the rich govern alone, the interest of the poor is always in peril. Okay, so the majority of the people who are governing us are rich, are rich. So, of course, as he said, the interest of the poor is in peril. And so that's what we're seeing right now. The interest of the poor is to be able to get SNAP, to have housing programs, to have Medicaid, to be able to get health insurance, to be able to get health care, to have be able to get a quality education, to have grants for college, all these things, infrastructure. I mean, jobs, job creation. The government should create jobs. It is not the government to purpose to be efficient. I mean, we all should spend the money well, but it's not. The government should create jobs. That's what they should do. They've taken so much of the people's money. Yes, they should create jobs. Absolutely. Absolutely. Who do you think is going to do it? Anytime you have other corporations using robots and AI and whatever else to eliminate employees, then it is left up to the government to create jobs. That's the job, because the government is of the people, for the people, by the people. Okay, so I think there was another thing that they talked about and I don't want to get into all this. Hey, you can read it. It's actually on Amazon. They have where you can convert it to an ebook, because I know a lot of people don't feel like reading, so it's already been converted into an ebook. I don't know whose voice it is, but you can do it by the push of a button, which I did. We need to educate ourselves. You just can't. We just can't keep going on like this when we don't know what's going on, and the news is not going to tell you what's going on. We're going to have to try to find our information and our help in other places. Very simply, with all this going on, and I love the No Kings March. I love the people that are coming out. I think so far there have been two well-organized marches that have been protesting a lot of the different legislations that are going on, and the moving forward with this Project 2025. But I listened to this white lady on, I believe it was on my Instagram or whatever, and she said that in order for real change to take place, she says it has to be at least 21 to 22 million people in the streets protesting. On the last one, it was, some people said 10 million, some people said 12 million, some people, tried to downplay it to 5, but I would say it was around 10 to 12 million, but that's still half of what is necessary to have real change. She also said that the protesters and marches can't be when it's convenient, on the weekend, on a Saturday when nobody's working and we don't have nothing else to do. We can just get out here and do the protest. She says it has to be done during the week. So people talk about the success of the civil rights movement. They actually think that Black people can actually repeat what they did in the civil rights movement and just come on out here, Black people. You can be the answer to what's going on, but not this time. It's the majority of people in this country at this time. It will change eventually, but at this time, the majority of this country is white, and they need to get out in these streets and vote, and vote with their feet. That means you have to protest. The civil rights movement, people had to protest every day, every single day. You cannot choose a day. Oh, we're going to do this day. You have days where you're going to do larger marches or larger things on this day, an organized thing, but it's an everyday thing. In the civil rights movement, there was no off day. Every day. You have to diligently fight this. We still want to be kind of on the lazy side. We still want to be like when I feel like it, or when I'm not busy, or when I'm off, and all of that, which is not going to work out. That is not going to work out, because now everybody's gone home, and then, okay, so now you're out of my hair. You're not my problem anymore. It has to be every day. And I don't know how long it takes or what more needs to happen, or maybe the results of all these things haven't worked themselves into our lives enough to where we're going to come out and go cuckoo crazy. But, you know, we sit back long enough, we're going to get there. We're going to get there. So anyway, that's my thing, people. That's my little soapbox for today. But I want to talk a little bit more. Join me on my YouTube channel, Keeping It Copacetic. Because and sometimes you gotta make some changes so that you can keep it copacetic. We can't keep it copacetic if the world is going crazy around us. We want to manage our stress, but we have to manage the situations as well. So, I can't wait to vote. We just don't have any elections here for me to vote for, but I just can't wait to vote. But anyway, until the next time, keep it copacetic, people.